Hello, Faith family. It is December 7th, and I'm here to read another one of the Advent readings from Dr. David Jeremiah's Why the Nativity. And the question today is why Elizabeth and Zechariah's miracle baby? For the people of Israel, the greatest of all legacies was that of having and raising children. In that respect, they were like most of us. In those early days, they found it hard to understand infertility. Many believed that if God was withholding the blessing of children, someone must have done something wrong. And the finger of blame was generally pointed at the woman. She was suspected of some hidden sin, and as long as the childlessness continued, she must be guilty. It's hard for us to imagine the lonely spiritual journey of a frustrated would be mother during Bible times. What have I done wrong, Lord? Why won't you reveal my sin so I can atone for it? Elizabeth, who lived near Jerusalem, must have prayed those words through her tears on many sleepless nights. Zechariah, her husband, was a priest. It made their problem even more noticeable. There would be whispering among a priest about a priest's wife who could not have children and who had no favor in God's eyes. How Elizabeth must have longed for a daughter to help with the cooking and cleaning and one day to give away as a bride. Zechariah would have wanted a son just like any father. But the nights were long and God was silent and the crib was empty. Years passed, and the time of gray hair and tired bones crept inexorably near. The couple had long since given up hope of children when, unbeknown to them, the time approached for the world's most wonderful event and their amazing part of it. Luke begins his gospel with the saga of Christ and Christianity, not with Mary and Joseph, but not with Herod, but with this story. Zechariah the priest was in the temple burning incense before the Lord when suddenly he wondered if he had fallen into a daydream. There, standing to the right of the incense altar, stood an angel. He was terrified, as people always were when angels came to visit. The visitor revealed news that was too wonderful to imagine. God would answer years and years of prayers with a child for the couple. Not only that, it would be as if the child himself would reflect the sum total of those years of grief and yearning. He would be a special child, filled with the Holy Spirit even before his birth. This was something more than remarkable. For hundreds of years, there had been no prophets, and this child would bear the presence of the Lord even in his mother's womb. The priest may have fallen to his knees, his frame racked by weeping, tears of uncomprehending awe. The angel had gone into considerable detail about the child's future. Neither Mary nor Joseph heard quite so many facts about their coming child. First of all, said the angel, many people would rejoice with the couple, blessed vindication after so many years of social judgment. The child was to be named John. He would bear the spirit and power of Elijah, that most people of prophets, and he would turn scores of Israelites back to God, the God that they had forsaken. He would turn the hearts of the fathers to their children. Greatest of all, he would prepare the way for the coming of the Lord, just as Isaiah had foretold. We know him as John the Baptist. A sudden flash of doubt must have passed through Zechariah's mind. As a priest, he knew the prophecies of the coming of one like Moses, one who would announce the Messiah's presence among men, but he lacked the faith to believe. He questioned how this could be true. The angel then revealed his identity. He was Gabriel, who stands at the very throne of God. Great Gabriel, who had visited Daniel and would also visit Mary. And as a mild discipline, he stilled the priest's tongue so that he could not speak from then until the angel's words were verified. For the first time, he would have something to talk about, and he couldn't utter a word. Can you imagine his mixture of joy and frustration when he returned to Elizabeth? Indeed, like Luke tells us that his wife was taken by surprise when the pregnancy came. God has taken away my disgrace, she said. She was at the beginning of her third trimester when Gabriel had another early visit, this time to Mary. Along with the announcement of Jesus, Gabriel let Mary know that her cousin Elizabeth also had some good news. The destinies of their children would be intertwined. Both were miracle births, both fulfillments of ancient words. Unlike Zechariah, Mary had simple faith to believe the angel's amazing news. When Mary came rushing into the arms of her cousin, the child inside Elizabeth leaped for joy. Mary sang a song of praise, quoting Hannah, a famous mother who had also given birth to a prophet after oceans of tears. Mary and Elizabeth, sisters in miraculous grace, held each other close. Mary's news was the greatest. It revealed that the Son of God was to appear. But Elizabeth's news was wonderful too, for it revealed that the promised herald of God's Son was about to be born, the one God chose to be a shining lamp that would attract people to Jesus, the light of the world. When the child came, so did Zechariah's speech. He offered a song of praise to match those of the women. Another song of sorts was later sung about John, this one by Jesus himself. He called this miracle child of Elizabeth and Zechariah the greatest man and more than a prophet. The faithless priest and his wife show us that God is listening to our prayers. He's faithful to his word, and he's preparing the way for something more wonderful than we can even imagine. And he rewards even feeble faith.